Hey foodies, and welcome back to Cooking with Kiana. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a Cajun shrimp boil. This is not complicated and it's super easy, so let's get into it. All right, I'm going to be using 1 pound of jumbo shrimp. I just went ahead and left mine in the shell so it can absorb all of that flavor. Just make sure you rinse this well and remove the vein. I'm also going to be using a pound of jumbo scallops. As you can see, they are pretty big. And I'm going to be using smoked sausage for this recipe. You can use andouille sausage. I just could not get my hands on it. Just make sure you cut these in about 3-inch thick slices. For this recipe, I'm using about 8 small potatoes. I just went ahead and cut those in half. And I have these soaking in water. That way they don't turn brown. And this is the corn that I'm going to be using. I'm using frozen corn. However, you can use fresh corn. And this is the shrimp boil packet I'm going to be using as well. I'm also going to be using a Maggi bouillon cube. This is going to be going inside of the shrimp boil. That is going to be going inside of the shrimp boil as well. It's 2 tablespoons of Cajun seasoning and 2 tablespoons of Old Bay. I'm also going to be using dried parsley and dried thyme. By all means, use the fresh one. I'm also going to be using 3 sticks of butter. Obviously, this is for the butter sauce. And 2 heads of garlic, 1 for the butter sauce, 1 for the boil. I'm also going to be using 1 large onion and 2 lemons. And these are the spices that I'm going to be using for the butter sauce. I have 1 tablespoon of paprika, 2 tablespoons of Cajun seasoning, 2 tablespoons of lemon pepper, 2 teaspoons of ginger powder, and 1 to 2 tablespoons of cayenne pepper, depending on how spicy you want this. So I'm going to start off by chopping up a head of garlic, and I'm just going to go ahead and mince these. All right, the smaller you chop these up, the better. And guys, definitely do not be lazy and use minced garlic. Fresh garlic is definitely the way to go. All right, so now we're going to take the pan that we're going to use for the boil, add a little bit of oil, and then we're going to add those sausages directly in there. You just want to get a good sear on both sides. So I'll say maybe about 3 minutes each side. All right, once they have a nice color on them like this, go ahead and remove them from the pot. Make sure you don't clean out that pot after we have used those sausages, because I'm going to take the hot water and that's going to lift up all of the fond, giving a lot of flavor. At this point, I'm going to add in the Maggi bouillon cube, and I just crush this up in my hands to make it easier for it to dissolve. And just go ahead and give that a good stir. Once that has dissolved, go ahead and add in the Cajun seasoning and the Old Bay. And we're also going to add in that shrimp boil packet. And if you remember that other head of garlic that we had that I said was for the boil, you just want to go ahead and remove the skin, add those in whole. I'm also going to add in 1 onion, cut that in half, and 1 lemon and cut that in half as well. Let that boil. Then we're going to add in the corn and the potatoes. If you guys are enjoying this recipe so far, give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. That way you guys can see new recipes in the future. Okay, now I'm going to add in 1 tablespoon of thyme, and this is just to enhance the flavor. Just go ahead and mix that in, and we're going to let this boil for about 15 minutes or until it is done. You will know when it's fork tender. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and remove the corn and the potatoes from the seafood boil, and we're going to put it on our plating dish. All right, guys, so now it's time to make the Cajun butter sauce. I'm going to go ahead and take 3 sticks of butter and let those melt on medium heat. Then we're going to add in the fresh chopped up garlic. Go ahead and let that cook for about 2 to 3 minutes. All right, after 2 to 3 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and add in the spices that I showed you guys earlier. Just go ahead and dump all that in, and we're just going to mix that all together. I'm telling you, all those different flavors from that spice mix, this is going to be really good. All right, so now I'm going to add in 1 teaspoon of crushed red pepper just to give it a little bit of kick of spice. I'm also going to add in 2 teaspoons of sweet chili sauce and 1 tablespoon of parsley and 1 tablespoon of thyme. Go ahead and mix that in as well. And now we're going to go ahead and add back in the sausages. And look at me, I almost forgot. Before you guys add in the sausages, make sure you add in 1 cup of chicken broth. This is very important. This is so the seasonings and the butter don't separate from each other, and it honestly just makes the sauce come all together. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and add in those shrimp, mix that all together, make sure it is fully covered in that sauce. And then we're gonna let that cook for about 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, we're gonna add in the scallops. And this is just because the shrimp is going to take like give or take a minute or two longer than the scallops, and you just want everything to be cooked perfectly and not overcooked. So just go ahead and mix that all together. And once it looks like this is how you know it is done. Go ahead and turn off the fire. Remove the shrimps, the sausages, and the scallops. And then we're just gonna go ahead and add that to the plate with the rest of the stuff. Then we're gonna take all of that butter sauce and just dump that all over the seafood boil. Okay, don't skip that. That's very important, all right? If you want it to be nice and succulent, nice flavor, and very buttery, do not forget to add in all of that butter sauce. So this is what it is looking like after it is done. And let me tell you guys, this recipe was definitely a hit. You're gonna talk about juicy and flavorful. This is exactly what you want, all right? It was super simple, very easy to make, not that many steps. I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up as well as leave me a comment below. Also, do not forget to subscribe to my channel. That way you don't miss weekly recipes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.